Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Reading with Ayo. My name is Ayo Lawrence, and this week I have two great guests with me. They're my colleagues, but they're also good readers. You can see behind them, like you can see books, so they're like readers like me too. But I just want them to introduce themselves. Oh, Daniel, you want to go first?
Sure. My name's Daniel Emery. I do love reading books and talking about books. So I really appreciate you inviting us to have a conversation and read this book with you today.
Mphatso, come on, let's talk. What's happening? How you doing?
Yes. Thank you for the introduction, Ayo. My name is Mphatso Khoza, and like Daniel, I love reading books, and I'd seen you post a few of your book reviews, and I thought, man, I would love to do something similar with Ayo. So I'm really glad to be doing this with you and Daniel today.
Mphatso, this book, you are your best thing, right? You Before the book even came out, you said like, I want to do this book with you, and I want to bring Daniel along. I was like, why did you choose this? Because we pre-ordered this book. It's not as like, and Brené is one of my favorite writers. I've read all her books. I've listened to watched all her stuff on Netflix, on YouTube, all her TED Talks, and I've listened to all her podcasts. So I'm a big fan of Brené. But when you said it, I'm like, okay, I pre-ordered it. Why did you want to really look at this book? You are your best friend.
Yeah, so great question, Ayo. So I actually got introduced to Brené Brown a few years ago on a road trip. I had it was a long road trip, and we popped in a Brené Brown CD, and we were listening to it. She struck me as someone who normalized the experience of shame. She describes herself as a shame researcher, right? Which at the time of her introduction to the field wasn't something that necessarily was given sufficient credit. So fast forward to just a few experiences in reading some of her other books and listening to her podcasts. She talked about this particular book and her collaboration with Miss Burke around this anthology of Black stories that focused on the emotion of shame. That has been something close to me as a personal journey, and I thought, oh my gosh, this would be something valuable to read, valuable to share, valuable to get, and not just a Black response, but a varied response, right? Multi-group response like we're having today. So that's the reason for my excitement.
So you are your best friend. You're your best friend. It said vulnerability, shame, resilience, and the Black experience. And I know I love the book. I love all the stories that I heard because it talked about some of the things that I've been dealing with as well. Some of the things I've been dealing with as a Black man, like the Austin Channing story, whereby before you go for a run, you got to make sure that you want to go for a run outside. I have to make sure that I have my driver's license. I have to prepare. Actually, during when Ahmed Aubrey died, my daughter and my wife, they bought me a treadmill. They're like, run inside.
Yeah. Right.
Like those kind of stories. And I just like looked at those stories as they came, and it was like, God, this is what I needed to really read. Daniel, what did you think about the book when you finished reading it?
So I really appreciated being asked to read this book with you guys. I think it was a really important book for somebody like me to read, growing up in a place of privilege, being a white male in America, and even growing up in a rural part of Texas as a white male in America, the ability to see from somebody else's perspectives, those perspectives that are offered in this book, what's part of the Black experience like, reading the perspective of a disabled LGBTQ person who's also Black, the more of those perspectives that someone like myself and my peers can consume, the better prepared we are to be allies and to try to be, to make the world a better place, right? So from that perspective, I really valued what I got out of it. it was so varied in the different essays that were there. There was a lot, and it was really great reading experience from that perspective.
I agree with you. I loved all the essays but the one I enjoyed most is Between Us, A Reckoning with My Mother, Jason Reynolds. And the reason is I love my mom, and I lost my mom like 2 years ago. And, one of the things that happened between that time is they called me that she was in the hospital, and I like, okay, let the doctors go take care of her. And 2 minutes later, if I had stayed on the call, I would have seen, heard her die, right? But I like, you know what, they called me back. 2 minutes later, they called me that she died. So like that was an emotional thing for me. And when he said it, like in the story is that his mom used to go take care of his granddad every 2 weeks, drive all the way, across town to go take care of the dad. And the mom used to go take care of the dad. So when his mom was sick with cancer, and he was a writer, he just was about to go sign his first book deal, his first deal, and his mom was sick. He had to leave his mom on his deathbed and go take care of that. And I thought about it. Most of us, Black people, because we don't have that much opportunities. We don't say no to a lot of things, or we don't push back. Because he wrote in the book, if he had told them like, "Oh, my mom is sick, can you guys give me 1 more week?" Maybe they'd have said yes. But because he knew that there wasn't that much opportunity, he was like, "No, I need to go take this." And that really touched me because, I feel like we as Black people, we need to take those kind of bold steps sometimes and ask for, hey, can you guys, I don't want this opportunity. This is the opportunity I want, and speak up and be bold and, fight fear, because there's a lot of fear in us because we think there's not that much opportunity. What did you guys think about that essay?
Yeah, I can associate with the conflict that he faced, right? With having to decide between a professional opportunity and a family obligation. And like you, I've faced those, and they have been very challenging. They've been very painful, and they are characterized by this fear. I want to say that it's probably, at least in my opinion, right? It's probably a universal experience, right? Now, I think there is some component in there that is connected to my race, my Blackness, and the fact that I don't feel as if I am entitled to that type of space to make those kinds of decisions. But I think within that context, there's always going to be something, I think, as from that human experience, right, that makes the person feel, whether they're Black or not, the person feel that they're not entitled to that grace. Yeah. It can be very punishing.
Yeah,
I like that you used the word grace for that, Mphatso, because what I was thinking that resonated with me in that essay was the moment of self-forgiveness that was required, and the type of discussions that we can have with parents and others before we lose the chance. And sometimes we're surprised by the fact that they tell us. I've had that experience where you come to them and say, there's something that I've always felt I let you down on this or that. And they have said to me, you shouldn't be carrying that burden, because I never felt that way about your actions in that situation. So I think that part resonated with me, and just giving ourselves some grace to travel in a road that offers imperfect choices, and recognize that our loved ones traveled the same sort of roads, right? So they have some understanding of that.